Okay, team, chapter 19. Anna Mikhailovna comes with Pierre to the old count's house. And it's interesting that Anna comes with her. We know she has a history of being there. Even that very day, she was there with Boris, and so she's sort of established her position. And for some reason, she feels interested to help Pierre. And maybe this is partly due to her own self-preservation and this whole strategy with her son, I'm not sure. But she comes. And she actually is leading Pierre. And then, interestingly, on the carriage ride over, Pierre falls asleep. He's not even, you know, we've seen Prince Vasily and the princess, they're all stressed out about this old count's death and the will and whatnot. And again, Pierre, there's something different about Pierre. And so he's following Anna, and they get to the count's house, and there's this whole crowd of people, remember. So Anna leads Pierre to the back door, and he finds this strange, he doesn't know why. And he's following Anna. And it's interesting, he just decides to just trust her. And you know, this is this side of Pierre where he certainly has opinions. We've seen this before. He can express ideas very confidently, but there's this other side to him of which he's not sure what to do. You remember in Anna Pavlovna's party, and even when he was coming in to the Rostovs, and how he just kind of sat down in the middle of the room, kind of in the way. But he's sort of very, in a way, self-aware of this. And so he just automatically trusts Anna, and Anna keeps reassuring him, just like she did with her son. Remember, he was there, you're there, okay, you promised me. But it's different with Pierre. You know how Boris sort of, he went along begrudgingly. With Pierre, he's just trusting. Well, must be the way it is. And so she leads him up the back way, up the back stairs. They happen to pass by the room with an open door where Prince Vasily and the eldest princess is. And she sees him, and you know, at this time, she's worked herself up. She slams the door, and Prince Vasily's aghast. And Pierre is still rather befuddled by this. What is going on? Why are these people behaving this way? You know, he's not oblivious that his father's dying and so on and so forth. So Anna says to him while they're making their way, "I've loved you like a son from the first. Trust in me, Pierre. I shall not forget your interests." Pierre did not understand what she was talking about, but again felt, and even more strongly than before, that all this had to be, and he submissively followed Anna, who was already opening a door. You know, it's almost like Pierre has a very light ego, or he's egoless in many circumstances. He knows he doesn't know what's going on, but see, you couldn't picture Nikolai behaving this way, or Boris this way, or Berg this way, or pick any other of his peers. For him, he does much with zest and gusto, and then other times there's this passive willingness just to go along. Remember when the gentlemen were discussing the politics and the war and the manifesto, and that old colonel was just rah-rah, we got to do what the emperor says, and Pierre nodded in agreement, you know. And this is in the context of Pierre admiring Napoleon in another way. So there's something very, very unique about Pierre, his good-naturedness, and also we see another dimension of it here. as he's following Anna. And he still couldn't really comprehend. He knew he was going to visit his dying father, but he couldn't comprehend sort of the whole orchestra of it, and what was it to be expected of him. Having decided to obey his mentor and everything, Pierre moved towards the sofa. And so we're getting close to him entering the room. And he starts to notice people start treating him differently. See, the story that Pierre might be the heir, this is not a secret story. It's not just Prince Vasily who knows of this letter. It's kind of spelt out. And it's uncertain, but people are kind of hedging their bets maybe. And it's kind of like, here's the son, here's the favorite son. Is he going to be now kind of the ruler of this household? And they start treating him differently. A deference such as he had never before received was being shown to him. A stranger got up and offered her place. An adjutant picked up a glove he had dropped and handed it to him. The doctors fell into a respectful silence and moved away to make way for him as he passed. And this confuses Pierre. At first, Pierre wanted to take another seat rather than trouble the lady, to pick up the glove himself, and to walk around the doctors, who were in no way in his way. But he suddenly felt this would be improper. He felt that on this night, he was a person obliged to perform some rite, that it was something everyone expected of him, and therefore he was bound to it. So he took the glove from the adjutant without a word. He sat down in the lady's chair, and he made up his mind that all this was just as it should be, and that on this night, to avoid losing his head and doing something stupid, he must not act according to his own ideas, but must surrender himself entirely to the will of those who were guiding him. So maybe this sentence gives us a little insight. He must not act according to his own ideas. And maybe this reputation has followed him, maybe what he did in St. Petersburg. And he's kind of like, oh, that kind of got out of hand. And so, again, I find this very intriguing in Pierre. And the only way I can kind of color it a little bit is it's kind of ego light, or it's like he's willing, I might just muddle this up as well. At this point in time, I best just follow what others are expecting of me. I don't really understand why they're behaving this way, or it's just all seems a little strange to him, and he's kind of like a fish out of water. And so in his sincerity, he's following Anna. He doesn't quite understood all her directions either, but is just willing to go along with it. And so here's another almost mysterious aspect to Pierre, and kind of sets him apart again, somewhat distinctly from his peers. And that's chapter 19.